Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. Today is Friday, Freaky Friday, March 10th, and this episode is brought to you by my fantastic sponsor, El Cajon Harley. El Cajon Harley, Southern California's best Harley-Davidson dealer. You want to get a motorcycle, don't go anywhere else. Head to El Cajon Harley. Big comedy fans, big rock and rollers down there, just cool people. Excellent service department. They got a fantastic motor clothes department. And they got all the brand new 2017 Milwaukee 8s on the floor. They also have that brand new 750, just came out yesterday. Find out about that. Or the new Road King Custom. Hit up my boy Greg Riley, man. They're also will not be beat on their tire sales. And they are getting ready to fire up their Bikes and Babes program. Find out about that on their website at elcajonharley.com or follow them on Instagram and Twitter. They have an amazing selection of used bikes, too. So maybe you don't want a new bike. Maybe you just want to get a nice used bike. They can finance you, get you on that road immediately. Get yourself a motorcycle at El Cajon Harley. Tell them you heard about it here on Let There Be Talk.
I'm from a small town in East Tennessee called Crossville. And I know, and my dad's here. But when I live in Los Angeles, and when I tell people I'm from a small town, that confuses them. They're always like Chattanooga? I'm like, oh, no. You have no idea, do you? It's like, okay, here's a good example of how small the town I'm from is. When I was in 5th grade, my older cousin went to a field party, got in a fight, and killed a dude. When I was in high school, the dead dude's sister asked me to the prom. That's a small town.
Selling kids for food.
All right, here we are. It is a Friday. Freaky Friday, yeah. Freaky Friday. Special episode today. I don't usually do Fridays, but it was a busy week. I was out there doing shows and stuff, and I was like, God, I couldn't get it up on Thursday. I couldn't get it up. I couldn't get the episode up on Thursday, but that's the great thing about being your own boss. I didn't get into podcasting and comedy for rules and schedules. Here it is, Friday. You're like, oh, shit, go into the weekend. I'm looking at it as like, all right, it goes up Friday. You guys got something to listen to on the weekend. Excellent guest today, comedian. I don't do a lot of comedians on the show because, that's what most people are doing with their podcast. And I wanted to try to do something different when I started it. But once in a while, there's a comedian that I must have on, and it's just like a band or in any guest I have on The Handmaid. When somebody's doing something good, let's get them on the podcast and let the world know about them. And that's exactly what my guest is doing right now. Billy Wayne Davis is out there slinging jokes, doing stand-up, a Nashville guy, but not your typical, hey, what's up, guys? You ever get a 4-wheel drive? This guy has got great jokes, and I've worked with him a few times in the last couple months, and immediately we became friends. He absolutely smoked it on Conan. Watch his set, and that little bit of bit that you heard at the top of this is on his brand new record that's out on THRID Man Records. You can get it on iTunes, or you can get it on vinyl, which of course is the way you should go. Live at THRID Man Records, Billy Wayne Davis. Great dude. He's toured with Sturgill Simpson, which is super cool. We talk about that. We talk a little baseball, steroids, all over the place. Great conversation. You never know where the conversations are going to go. I don't ever plot out like questions or anything. People sit on the couch and boom. I'm always fascinated where the conversations go. Before I get to the guest, thank you to everyone who came out last night to the Irvine Improv, and thanks Doc Willis and Frank Castillo for opening the show. It was awesome. Ran my hour in there. Felt good. Some good friends were in the audience. Rockabilly J was there. Good to see him from the old West Coast Chopper days. And a lot of podcast a lot of podcast listeners in the audience, which was fantastic, man. Well, going for that 1,000 true fans each day, chiseling away. 1,000 true fans. So thanks for coming out. If it is Friday today, so if you're listening to the episode, I will be at the Comedy Store tonight and the Hollywood Improv. Tomorrow night, Comedy Store, Sunday night, Comedy Store. Some upcoming road dates. One just added, which is a fantastic one, March 24th. I will be in Oakland, California at the Fox Theater with Mark Maron. Also, I will be doing the Baked Rock and Roll Comedy Show at the Hollywood Improv March 25th with Steve Agee and Brendan Smalls. Come down and find out what song I'm going to sing. I think you're going to dig it. That's at the Hollywood Improv. Also, Ontario, I'm headlining coming your way. Ontario, not Canada. Ontario, California. I'm doing the Ontario Improv Easter week, April 13th through the 15th. And then back to the Denver Comedy Works, April 26th through the 30th. And Minnesota just announced House of Comedy, June 14th through the 18th. Get your tickets to all the shows. Get the asses in the seats. Let's be laughing and living our lives and having fun. Let's get into it right now. It is time for the Freaky Friday episode with Billy Wayne Davis. All right, here we are, another episode of Let There Be Talk. Great guest today. Introduce yourself.
Billy Wayne Davis.
Billy Wayne Davis. That's such a country star name, right? All right, welcome to the stage, Billy Wayne Davis.
Yes, when I opened for Sturgill Simpson, it didn't say comedian Billy Wayne Davis on any of the posters and stuff.
So they just figured you're...
So many people, like the first 5 minutes, are like, why is he still talking?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Where's your banjo?
Yeah, he doesn't have an instrument. What's he going to do? And I was like, oh, and then like 5 or 10 minutes in, I'd be like, you guys realize I'm just going to tell jokes for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you see people like, oh, okay.
How long were you out with him?
We did 30 dates, so it was about 3 or 4 months.
Wow, 30 dates. And was this recently?
It was fall of 2015.
So the new record was out?
No, I got to hear the new record.
Oh, I got you.
On that tour. I remember the first time I heard it.
Yeah.
We were in Buffalo, and it was after the show. And there was no hotel because everyone was just leaving out early after the show.
So buses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so we're just hanging out at the venue until they kicked us out. And we're just getting stoned. And then he pulls out his phone and he just pushes play.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He was like, this is the new one. I was like, damn.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, I didn't know who he was at all until that record. A lot like... I was into Jamie Johnson. I didn't know didn't know who he was until the big record came out. The one, what is it? High Cost of Living, man. That's great. High Cost of Living ain't nothing like Cost of Living High.
That dude can
Killer.
write the fuck out of a song.
Same thing with what's his name? Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, I like Stapleton.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of dudes doing it right, and then finally you got the right breaks.
Yeah.
And that kind of momentum. Because I knew Jamie Johnson when I lived in Nashville years ago. Nashville has exploded. I don't care for what it is now.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago when I was there, it's this grimy little town.
Yeah, I loved it. I used to play there. Exit In, man.
Yeah.
And what a great room, and that town and that, what is it, Gruen's guitars or whatever. and that whole Music Row and everything, it was great. My buddy moved out there, and there was a minute where I thought I was going to move out there, you know?
You would have fit in perfect.
Yeah, he's like, come out here. You can write songs and get it. And I'm like, that shit is locked up. You know what I mean?
But
you just go out-
yeah,
you
I mean,
just
you're
go
right.
out
You're
there.
both right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's like. I think that's why Sturgill's success is so cool because it was locked up and they all told him to go fuck himself a bunch, and now he's.
I love that. He gives me inspiration in a way of like, you know, I started comedy at 44 and it's like, yeah, you're not going to get anywhere. And it's like, oh, all right, you know. Like, why do you even fucking... First of all, you're putting a monetary thing on it right away.
Yes.
You're not going to get rich and famous. It's like, what about just doing it? Isn't it about that?
If you can make a living doing comedy, I think you win.
Oh, fuck yeah. Seinfeld said it. He said, the reward is doing comedy.
Yeah.
That's the reward.
I heard Todd Barry early on in my career, just, you know, back when I was just going up anywhere. I still do that. I don't know when I say like back when I was doing that, I still just go up anywhere. I still love
me
it.
too.
I love it. He was like young you know how that monotone talk, this cadence he's got. He's like, you know, they're like, hey, can you give me advice? And he's like, and what they're saying is, can you give me a shortcut?
Yeah.
And he was like, and I always just tell him like, if you're already looking for a shortcut, you're not gonna do this.
Yeah.
Because you're already doing the thing you like.
Yeah.
This is all. And I was like, that's exactly it. I was like, I remember doing Blow with Mitch Hedberg at this closed down bar in Printer's Alley. I knew he was gonna die soon. I was just overwhelmed kid at that point.
Yeah, some people are on that, you know.
It didn't even break my heart. I was like, this is just his life.
Yeah, that's the mission, man, you know? It's like, I say a lot of times that people are put on the earth just to remind people what good art is, and then they're gone.
Yep.
Like Kurt Cobain or somebody, it's like, boom, okay, Hendrix, you know.
This is how it should be done.
Yep. And then if you don't learn from me, we'll send another guy 10 years from now. Quit putting out garbage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I noticed that was a huge thing. Worked those 2 nights I worked with Mitch, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, but I think as I get older, I realize how, at the time I knew it was special, but as you get older, you realize like how important it was.
Yeah.
What I saw in me and him was that he loved doing stand-up.
Yeah.
He hated every other fucking part of it. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I get that.
Yeah.
The rest of it, like the money part and the advertising.
Social media.
It's...
Morning radio.
all of it is a nightmare.
TSA.
Yes.
All of it. My buddy, I remember this was an amazing thing. My buddy said he was playing, he's a guitar player, he's playing for a big country star. And the person said, well, you know, you get $3,000 a week or something. And he's like, you know, and he's like, yeah, I got to get some more money. And they're like, why? And he's all, I do the shows for free.
Yeah.
You don't understand. I'll play all your shows free. You could be here in town and I'll do them for free. It's the thing you're paying me for is each night I'm not in my bed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you get older too, like I realize like what I'll put up with on the road is less and less.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're going to have to, like before I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. And now I'm like, no.
Yeah. I remember somebody was telling me, a big comic, they're like, well, you need to go out there and you need to do all the shitholes and everything. And it's like, yeah. I did those for 5 years, but I also did them for 25 years in music. I already know what the grind is about. Sleeping in vans, eating Taco Bell, gigs being canceled, guys ripping you off. It's the AC/DC thing. Ripped off, underpaid. That's
it exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
When you first go on the road, you realize like AC/DC, you're like, oh, they're just telling the truth.
That's all they were doing.
They're just singing about what was happening.
It's such a great thing. It's like riding down the highway.
Yes.
You know, you're like...
just dead on. Like the Jason Isbell's first album is like that. He has a couple songs where I'm like, oh, this dude did it. This is what I'm like driving down the road like, oh, this is what I'm doing, except for I don't rhyme when I talk.
Yeah.
This is it. Yeah, totally.
I was just watching that movie Dying Laughing, and it's a
good?
documentary. It just came out. It's good, yeah. And they're talking about, shit hotels. And I think that's the main thing that I can't stand is a shit hotel. You know, like I can put up with the venue because I'm doing comedy at the time, and I'm like, well, the people are here. We'll make it work.
And we don't need much.
No, we don't.
We don't.
But it's comedy. When you get to the hotel and it's just like you could potentially get bed bugs and then come home and they're in your mattress and now you're minus 3,000 because you got to bomb your house and throw the mattress away and everything. Now you're fucking like, you know.
Well, yeah, that I noticed early on that became my pet peeve real quick was like not even like bad hotels, just people that worked at the hotels that were shitty.
Yeah.
Because if you do it enough, you realize like people are good at this that work at the hotels and stuff. And when people are shitty to you, you're like, no, I'm here a lot.
Yeah.
I know how you're supposed to act.
Yeah.
So fuck off and give me what I'm paying for. Like my girlfriend seen me lose it a couple of times. She's like, you're so laid back. That's so weird when that you flip that switch. I'm like, it's that you're paying me not to be in my bed thing. That's it. Where it's like, no, I know your job.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you quit and get someone here that fucking, I'm getting worked up talking about it.
It's like TSA, you know?
Yes.
I got pre-check now. You know? But it's really, I'm trying to do a bit about it right now. It wasn't about the TSA people. It was about the people in front of me. It's like,
they don't know what they're doing.
How are you standing in line for an hour and you realize you got a belt and fucking keys and, you know, a necklace on and everything? What are you doing in life? Just put down your phone for a minute and realize, hey, we got to get through this, you know?
Yeah, what's at the end of this line?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's so dumb. My point is those yellow things that you stand on. You know, where they make... I was like, all right, I'm signing up for pre-check just to not ever put my feet on those. Because you go to the airport, shower.
Yeah.
Run a toothbrush across your fucking mouth. You know, get rid of some odors. I put my feet on those yellow things. I got secondhand fucking stink foot now. They don't have any shower shoes or anything for that.
I never thought of that.
It's gross. So then I go to put my shoes on. I'm like, oh, my feet stink.
From putting...
Because there's millions of feet on it fucking all
God
day.
God damn it. Well, I got pre-check too, so I don't have to do that.
Pre-check, you don't have to do it.
And I delayed getting pre-check for a while.
Me too, lazy.
Well, it wasn't even lazy because I was like, this is extortion.
Oh, yeah.
They created an obstacle.
Yeah.
They created it, and now they say for this money you can get around it.
Right.
And I was like, that is the definition of fucking extortion.
If you want a bomb, you can just fucking pay us
$85 for 5 years.
It's worth it though, man.
No,
wow.
That's what. And then Aaron, my girlfriend, was and how bullshit the process to get it is.
Oh yeah, right.
You're just like,
God.
oh well, this. That's when I was like, oh well, this is for sure a scam.
Yeah,
because you didn't even really check to see any background check.
I just sent in some stuff, and
then you gave me a thing and says I'm good to yes.
Yeah,
but Erin made a good point. She said, she was like, yeah, but you can afford the $85.
Yeah.
You fly so much, it's you. And I was like, you're totally right.
I would have paid $1,000 if they had one where you just walk right through. I'm just saying, if you just one where you just don't even a next level. You know what I mean?
For 5 years, maybe $1,000.
A next level one where you just get on a golf cart and you just go right to the gate. I'd go, here's $1,000.
Yes, you could get there 15 minutes early.
Oh,
for the flight. Yeah. Oh my God, that would save. How much time would that save us? That'd be worth $1,000.
You could sleep in. You know how many times we have to be at the airport at 5 a.m. for a 7, flight?
That's what people don't think too.
Yeah.
I just flew back from Portland. I'll be back. I'll be in Portland, but I had to fly. I did Eugene, but I didn't want to fly in Eugene. But I didn't even get a hotel because my flight was left at 6 a.m.
Yeah, you just stay up all night.
I just went to the airport. Yeah, I did the gig.
It
was like 12:30 when the gig was over, and I was like, I'll just sit in there for 4 hours instead of pay $80 to lay down and then be.
And you don't even do anything. You just sit there and you go, I got to leave now. And you're like, why did I throw money here?
Oh, yeah. I went to a hotel, sat and walked in, and then went, what am I doing? And then just walked right back out and went to the airport. I was like, I don't know. I was that thought of like, I'm older now. I don't have to sit in the airport. And I was like, but I would just sit in this hotel room.
It's fucking crazy. And you don't want to go to sleep because then you'll oversleep.
That was and I wouldn't have slept.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd much rather be like, oh shit, and I can run in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's exactly what and that Portland airport's pretty great.
So you're from Nashville, huh?
Outside of
Nashville.
That's where I started comedy, was in Nashville, though.
How long ago? I mean, you worked with Mitch for like that's got to be a long time ago.
It
right?
was 2002.
Yeah.
I think is when I started. 2003.
Oh wow! All right. What
So-
year did Mitch go?
I think around that. I was like
Right.
a year and a half. I remember I was like a year and a half in since the first open mic, and I was just barely the house MC at Zany's at that point.
And that's how you got to open for him. You were
Yeah.
just got you.
I remember that one specifically. I just asked the owner if I could, because it was. I mean, it sold out before you even knew it was
course.
happening, because
Yeah.
it was like the peak of Mitch. I mean, it was 3 weeks before he died.
Right.
And I just said, "Hey, can I just be in the room?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Do you want to open? Do you want to be the?
Oh,
Do you
man.
want to host?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, we'll pay you." And I remember when he said he'd pay me, I was like, "This is just he's an idiot. What's he doing?
Yeah.
He's going to pay me to do this?" Like, I would have given him that money.
I just
to-
asked you if I could sit in the room.
Yeah. Just
Now
like,
you're throwing stage time.
yeah, and money. Yeah, it was outrageous. And then that was a fun week because Mitch came in like a Sunday, Monday, and because he was just selling out everything.
Right.
So we did 4 shows, and the week leading up to that was like the Thursday through Saturday. I worked with Todd Glass.
Oh, great. I love him.
Oh, and I didn't know that much about him.
Right.
And then I remember being so like shocked that he didn't sell out because I just thought he was so brilliant.
Isn't
and that's
that
before I
crazy, right?
realized how
Yeah.
like that I was like a comedy nerd at heart.
Yeah, me
And
too.
I truly got comedy on a different level than most people.
Yeah, you're like, where are the thousands of me here? You
yes,
know?
exactly. Why isn't this place?
Then it starts spooking you, right? Like, wait a minute, this guy's way better than me. How am I going to give it? You know,
Yes,
at the time?
without a doubt. Yeah. And to this day, still, you're like,
Yeah.
damn it, this is not how this. I mean,
Yeah.
you still see who's like really popular sometimes, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
I see that every day. I'm like, so this is what.
Same with music, though.
with
Same with movies.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I mean, I can't tell you how much I shouted out Moonlight all year on Twitter. See this film. See this.
Is
film.
it not amazing?
It's incredible. And whenever something great gets made like that, you need to constantly shout it out. You know.
You have to.
Yeah, because or else they just won't get made. You know.
That's a good point. That movie, I saw it probably a month ago.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. Like, from the moment it was over, I was like, everyone needs to see this.
Yeah.
Every single human being needs to see this.
I love movies like that. They're just super original and indie vibe, you know.
And stick with in your brain.
Yeah.
Like, there's still parts of it I'm like, why did they do it like that?
Yeah, exactly, right? It's a lot of movies like Drugstore Cowboy sat with me forever.
Yeah.
You know, it's just this indie drug film. I was like, God, that's a great movie.
The pace is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And the way Moonlight is shot, it's art. It's
it is
just
straight art.
beautiful.
Oh, those scenes at the diner towards the end, man, just the way they're shooting those. It looks like American Graffiti, you know? Kind of the color and the look, you know? I was like, wow. So you open for Mitch, and are you pretty nervous? You meet him? What kind of guy is he?
I mean, immediately, he was, I can, that's so weird. I can see him walking in the back door for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, that was because he was the first, and I've talked about this before. He's the first guy, like, I found him on Napster.
Yeah.
And he wasn't famous yet.
Yeah.
He was just like this secret I had where I was like, this dude is amazing.
Yeah.
I was working in some computer lab at Western Kentucky, and I was like, God, he's so good. Just so different and just funny. And then so I had this like crush on him for sure. And then he started getting popular, and I had that, you know, when like
no.
Yes.
He's mine.
Yes, I had that. That was like the first time I had that where I was like, what? No.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you need to let the world needs to know about this guy. And I remember he walked in, and I think, you know, he was, I think, pretty deep into the drugs at that point, because it was 3 weeks.
Of course.
Three weeks before he died. So his face was a lot skinnier than
Right.
I had seen him on television or anything. So that was kind of, but I was still, and then he was just so sweet
Yeah.
and nice to everyone, including me. And it was very supportive. Like, he told me one of my jokes after the first show.
Wow.
And I was kind of like, you don't have to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And then there was like, it was like a party. And I was so new to comedy. that for a while I thought that's what comedy was going to be.
Yeah, just drugs and party
and just rock and roll. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like there was musicians coming in and out because
Yeah.
we were in Nashville, and then there was just drugs everywhere. He was just drug, and I was just sitting in the corner of this green room, like, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Were you a drug guy too, or
I
did
mean,
you
I
just do it
drank.
because you were there?
I drank, and that's the funny thing is like I've never cared for cocaine at all.
Yeah.
like the handful of times I've done cocaine in my life. This is funny. One was with Mitch Hedberg because he liked doing cocaine. The other one was Greg Giraldo.
Wow.
So don't do coke with me. You'll die.
Wow, man. Yeah.
Which I have nothing
It
to do
turns
with.
out you're the curse.
No, I don't think so. They
I'm
liked it
fucking
in a
with you.
different way.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I went through my head for a while. I was like, maybe I've got like a thing. And then you grow up and you're like, no, they loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you do align with them. Is it your first time doing coke?
No, but it was probably. I had done coke maybe twice before that. Like one line
Yeah.
in college because the guy that sold us mushrooms had it.
Yeah.
So for a while, I thought mushrooms like really jacked you up for a little bit
Yeah.
because we took mushrooms.
And then did coke.
And
That's
then
a ride.
me and another guy just did one line of cocaine, and the guy left. And so we were just jacked up. We were also nervous about the mushrooms,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
didn't realize that's what
Yeah.
it was. A lot of the coke was what we were on. And then, you do one line, it doesn't fuck you up.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't think anything about coke, and it was also a scary one. And then probably a year later, I was still at Bowling Green, and I came down. I started doing comedy, so I was down with these comics I met, and we went to a gay bar, and this dude that was a set decorator from LA that they knew, he had a bunch of cocaine,
Wow.
and we, you just did that first night, just like going to the bathroom,
Yeah.
going to different places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I called in sick the next day to work because none of it was planned. It was just like, yeah, I will keep. And then, you get that first cocaine hangover and you're like, well, this is the worst thing.
Oh my God.
Imaginable.
Just blinds are closed. You're like, oh God.
So could we kill ourselves?
It's a freight train.
Yes,
man. And your body's slowly breathing. It's like, dun, dun,
You feel everything.
dun, dun. Oh my God. You hear everything. You're like, what was that?
Just, and you're like, so, yeah, I remember thinking like, so people do this all the time? What is...
It's so weird. Right?
So I never had that, but I also realized that first night I did, I was like, I can see where certain types of human beings love this.
Of course.
And to me, it was like, I don't know. I've always been like, give me a depressant.
Yeah.
Because my brain is going
Yeah,
pretty
you
fast.
like weed, booze, downers, shit like that.
Yeah, that was always my thing. Like, I mean, I haven't had anything in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Literally anything. I quit smoking weed November 4th.
Oh, yeah?
Because of some court, it's like it's ex-wife stuff. She's trying to pull some shit.
Oh, like so you can't see kids or something?
She tried to keep, she just being mean.
Yeah.
And so we're going to court, and I could probably technically smoke weed, but I just don't want to have anything.
Yeah, it should be he's a drug addict, and then they piss test you, and you got some weed on you, and all of a sudden.
And I have a prescription for it. I don't think it'd be a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't think any court would be like,
But still.
but I don't want to mess with it.
Right. Do you miss it?
Weed?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. It's funny you asked that. I quit drinking. It'll be 4 years ago Sunday.
Wow. Did you have a problem with it?
Towards the end, I was drinking for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I was kind of sad
Like when you're a comic, too, it's easy to just drop into that drinking every night.
because there's no real consequence.
Yeah, it's
to
just free, and you're just like, let me get a couple shots. And next thing you know, you go, wait a minute, I had about 24 shots this week. If you drink like 2 or 3 a night. And
Yeah, and
you're on
I had a
shows-
tolerance, so I could
Yeah.
drink 5 or 6 in a
Totally.
night.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't smoking weed on top of that, you wouldn't have known it.
Yeah.
But towards the end, I was drinking to make pain go away,
Right.
like emotional.
Yeah.
And then that's a different type
Yeah.
of drinking where you're
Yeah.
just like, I want to turn my body off and my mind off.
Yeah, you get
So-
into that barfly kind of shit.
Yeah, and like kind of blacking out a lot more than
drink
anything.
through the life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just need a 6-hour break from life. So
What was that from? A divorce or something?
divorce? She accused me of some stuff that I didn't do, and then I was having to go through that, and then she was kind of keeping my son from me in a way. I don't like getting into it,
Yeah.
But
I hear you.
it was dark, and I came through it. It was like one of those things where it was like, oh, if I can get through that, there's nothing this town, Hollywood or anything can do to really fuck with me.
Yeah, right. Coming with thick skin.
Yes. It's like, no, like, and I've had people like talk shit to me, and I'll just drop those eyes and be like, no, there's nothing you can punch me or anything to do to cause me the kind of, and you just see them be like, oh, okay, this guy's, and I was like, yeah, fuck off.
Yeah. I've been through war.
Yeah, that kind of, yes, that kind of like,
love is war, man, when it ends.
And then when your kid, like that's like with her, it was fine. It was like, let's just go our separate ways. Of
course.
But she kind of used him as a pawn.
Yeah.
And she knew that that's what I cared about. And that's fucking mean.
That's brutal.
That's mean. And I don't understand punishing.
That's a human.
It's a human.
Don't put a human in the middle of it. You know what I mean?
Someone we should need to be taking care of in these relationships.
Yeah.
So, but the weed thing is like, I quit. I've taken a bunch of tests and just to show her, and she's still trying to fuck with us. But we're just trying to get in front of a judge. As soon as we get in front of a judge, the judge is going to be like, ma'am, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I was hanging out with my buddy in San Francisco. He owns an extract company.
Yeah.
And which was also hell hanging out with him.
Yeah.
It was like right after I saw you the first time. That next day I was going to San.
Oh, that's right. I remember. Yeah.
You were giving us places
doing
to eat.
Punchline or something.
Yeah. Well, I did Sketchfest, and then you were telling us like chutneys and those places to eat.
Oh, did you go?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you go?
I went to we went to Chutney's because he knew that place.
Yeah.
He was
unbelievable.
I don't even remember what I got. We were just shoving it in our fucking face.
Unbelievable. Marin took me there. I was like, what the fuck? I grew up, in the Bay Area. I was like, I never been there,
Well, you texted me, and I was with him, and I was like, do you know this place? And his eye, he was like, fuck yeah, let's go there.
Wow.
Like, so,
did you do the garage?
No, we didn't make it there.
Damn.
Just because that area, the time of day.
Yeah, it's by the ballpark. It's weird, yeah.
It's fucking brutal.
Yeah, traffic.
Yeah, we just looked. It was just all red. And I was like, I'm 36.
That's San Fran now. It's just traffic city,
And we were he was like, we can go another. I was like, that's fine. I'll be down there, and then it'll hit, I'll be in that area and be like, oh, I know where we can go.
Totally.
And so we're hanging out. He's got some of the best dabs on the planet.
Wow, you fuck around with that? That shit is strong, man.
See, my tolerance for weed is different. My receptors, like Pete Holmes was saying, he was talking to Seth Rogen, and Rogen's like, well, that thing that knocks people out on weed, I don't have that.
Oh, wow.
And
I wish
was like,
I didn't have that.
I don't have that either. My whole life.
Yeah.
I've just been able to smoke. It makes me feel, I love it.
Wow.
And people are just falling out left and right. And
Oh,
I'm just
man.
like, what are y'all doing? This is...
I smoked some about 3 weeks ago on Joey Diaz's podcast. This 24 karat, not even dabs, just weed. And I took a big hit in. I blew it out. And we were talking for about 7-8 minutes. One hit. It was a big one, but one hit. I hadn't been stoned since I started comedy because once I started, I was like, oh, it's fucking with my short-term memory. I'd be on stage and I can't remember the next joke. And before that, I was smoking a lot of weed, playing music because I enjoyed being out of my mind.
Well, you go to a different place.
Yeah, and see where it takes you. It was really cool. So I take the one hit. I got the headphones on. We're just talking, and we're watching Just a Gigolo, David Lee Roth video, and we're singing Just a Gigolo everywhere. And all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, man, I'm fucked. And my head just dropped down. I started sweating. It was like a snake bit me.
Really?
And I couldn't fucking move. And I could hear Joey in my headphones. It was almost like a self-help tape, like, yeah, ha, 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 ha. You okay? And I was like, I'm good. And man, it fucking wiped me out for what I thought was a couple hours, but it was only 20 minutes when you listen to the podcast, because then I kind of come through like, oh man, woo, that shit was strong.
And you felt kind of stoned.
And then I got normal, and then I was at the normal stoned.
Which is great.
Yeah, which is I'm stoned,
So it hit you that hard?
Well, I hadn't smoked it in 7 years.
Wow.
Imagine how fucking 7 years, nothing.
Did you, because that's what I was getting to, was like, because I hadn't told anybody this until my buddy, he was like, have you dreamed about it?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, dreamed about being stoned? And he grinned real big. He's like, yeah. And I was like, I have. That's weird. I was like, I haven't told anybody that. And I was like, but I have dreamed about being, like, I felt Like I dreamed about smoking weed.
Yeah.
And then I felt stoned in my dream. That's happened like 2 or 3 times. And he was like, yeah. He's like, I've had to quit a couple of times. He was like, and I was like, I haven't drank alcohol in almost 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's never happened.
I don't miss booze at all.
I can't even tell you what it feels like to be drunk anymore.
I don't even care about booze. You know, first of all, it's like $14 for a beer out at the clubs.
Yeah.
Like $13 for a Pabst Blue Ribbon or whatever, and $20 for like Stoli Colin. You know, like I got, you know, I'd rather spend money on like a fine dinner. You know what I mean? Like sushi or something, man. I just don't miss it at all.
Well, I have money because I don't drink.
Yeah, exactly.
I have money.
I used to wake up and go, how am I going to pay rent? I just spent $400 at the bar.
Yes.
What the fuck? $400?
Because as you start drinking, and you're like, "Hey, drink with me."
Hey, get one. Hey,
Yes.
you get one for them too. Oh
Yes.
my god.
And then you feel like shit. And then
my tolerance was way high. I could just drink all day.
that was my problem too.
Yeah.
It's like after I go through the free ones, that's when you start feeling good.
Yep.
And you're like, now let's go fucking drink somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do miss day drinking though. Like on a Sunday when I'd roll into a place like Sushi Sunday on night break on Haight Street.
That is the only time.
Yeah.
Is I'll think about it is like New York, San Francisco, sometimes here is during like the middle of the afternoon when it's really warm. You walk by and people are sitting outside having a beer.
That's the shit.
That's the only time I'm like, oh man, that's fun.
Yeah.
And then, but the
And then
trick
you go
I've
to
learned.
bed at 6.
Well, that's the trick I've learned is like think it through, and then be like, okay, I'd start drinking at fucking 3 or 4. I'd keep drinking.
Oh, till midnight.
Yes, and I'd be out of my fucking mind.
Out of your mind.
Out of your mind.
It's weird how far you could get out of your mind.
Out of your fucking mind.
Right? You're just like...
It's poison.
Oh, man, I remember one time I came out of the night break, or Murrio's trophy room, which is next door to the night break, and it was like a bar I drank at all the time. And so it was like this burrito shop, Murrio's, and the night break. I drank all day in the Murrio's, and I come out, and I'm walking, and there's like a garbage can, and there's a half-eaten burrito there. I'm so loaded, I just grab the burrito and start eating it walking home. Just someone's garbage.
Just eating someone else's.
No problem. Just fucking shit-faced like, oh, that looks good. I mean, wasted and ate it walking home. First of all, you could have just robbed the fuck out of me. I was just so out of it.
I
walking.
think about that too.
Yeah,
sometimes.
just
It's like,
walking.
back in those days, there were several times I woke up. I lived out in Hermitage. I woke up, and I would go out because I used to smoke cigarettes, smoke that first cigarette. And like a couple times, my truck was just in the yard, and I was just smoking a cigarette, being like,
God.
okay, all right. I hope I didn't hit anyone or
God,
anything.
it's so crazy, right?
Just Jesus.
And meanwhile, that shit's totally legal. You know what I mean? Booze. I mean, it's brutal.
Without it, yes.
Isn't that crazy?
That's the craziest, yes.
It is, man. It's like, wait a minute. You're worried about weed? I never see anyone fucking anything on weed, you know?
Yeah, if you're on weed, you're like, you want to get a cab? I don't even want to get in my car right now because...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see any spousal abuse on weed. I don't see any fucking, mad fucking road rage or drunk, like that kind of shit. It's usually just video games and music.
No one's
and
getting in a
laughing.
fight
Nope.
because they didn't get laid on weed.
Yeah, not at all.
No,
They're
you
just
don't-
eating pizza and going to bed.
Yeah. That argument.
crazy.
That argument is infuriating because
Yeah.
you're just like, well, this is it's obvious what you're doing.
Well,
like,
that's some old Bible Belt shit. You know what I mean? It's like booze and cigarettes are okay, but weed aren't. Well, weed's from the devil. It's like, wait a minute. A long time ago, you said booze was.
it started with the hemp industry.
Yep.
And the fucking the
Yeah,
people
against
that own
cotton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and against cotton and paper.
Exactly. That's exactly where that comes
And
from.
fucking
you know?
what's his nuts?
Fucking Hertz or
It was he owned all the papers. God damn it.
Randolph Hearst.
Hearst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was him. He was like, we got to get rid of this. You know.
And he had the papers to do the propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking-
That fucking reefer madness.
I remember I had my sister's old boyfriend. We were all in college. She's a year younger than me, and he gave me Reefer Madness for Christmas in front of my parents, and
Yeah.
I just remember like, motherfucker, why you just wait till after we leave my parents' house?
Yeah, because now they're going to be like, are you into heavy drugs?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were already worried about me because I drink, and I was like, you don't need to let them know that I love pot.
Yeah.
But now they're very cool with it. I've switched over, but they had that same propaganda where pot was bad.
Of course.
You have some drinks sometimes.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
And I was like, no, this is the opposite.
Yeah.
That is the opposite. And then another, cigarettes.
Oh, come on.
They're worse than anything.
I can't even believe cigarettes, man. It's just like everyone dies from them. Everyone.
If you smoke,
There's no guy that lived this whole life and it's like, well, he didn't die from cigarettes. Everyone dies.
It kills you.
It kills you. And not only that, but it wipes out like all kinds of medical shit, because the insurance industry, like they're like, well, we can charge crazy money for cancer and chemo and all these things. It's just like, it's a whole industry geared around dying on these cigarettes.
It's like a eugenics thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a slow eugenics thing because it's going to bleed you dry.
Yeah.
That's another one when I quit smoking. Like I have an app that I still keep going. It was like a little more than 2.5 years ago. I quit drinking before I quit smoking. But
you got to do one before the other.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like I quit smoking before I quit drinking. And that was the wrong move because as soon as you get a little buzzed, you could smell a guy light a cigarette across the room. It comes to you like, come to me.
Yeah.
And you go over, hey, can I get one of those? And next thing you know, you're on one. And then you're back when they had the cigarette machines in the bars. Then you grab one. And now you got a pack. And you go, I'll just throw these away after tonight. Nope, you're back on.
You're smoking again.
Oh, my, unbelievable how fucking strong that is.
It's so environmental. Like, I don't miss smoking cigarettes. Like, even the smell now, I'm like, oh, that's gross.
It's so gnarly.
But every now and then, like, I think I had a layover. There was like 3 hours at this airport probably 2 or 3 months ago. And I haven't missed smoke. I haven't thought about smoking. And I was like, I could walk outside and go back through security and smoke it. I was like, whoa, that is just a thing I would used to do to kill time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God.
Isn't that weird? How about when you see those guys in the smoker boxes in the airport?
Oh,
they have those boxes.
That used to be, I walked by that and I was like, that used to be me. And that looks gross.
They're just in there all stinking.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I smoked for a long time and now I can't stand it. Like when a guy gets on a plane and he just had one, he's sitting next to you. I'm like, this guy stinks. It actually gets on my skin and shit.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. I read that book, and if you're thinking about quitting smoking, read the book. Alan Carr's Easy Way to Quit Smoking. You might not quit immediately, but what it'll do is retrain your brain.
Wow.
And that's what it did for me is like, because it teaches you that you're not really physically addicted.
Yeah?
The majority of it
is just maintenance
or it's just habit. And like, you get in your car, you turn it on, you light up a cigarette, you roll down and that was my thing. You get to the airport, as soon as you walk out and get your bag, or before you even get your bag, I would walk out and smoke a cigarette.
Absolutely.
Fucking come back in. It was like one of my favorite things to do.
The only one I liked was when you wake up or with booze.
Booze was...
All the other ones were just maintenance and they were gross all day. It was just like, this is gross.
Well, that's what it teaches you, is that most of the time your body's not calling for you. You don't physically need a cigarette. It's this habit that you have.
Right.
And then once you learn that and you're like, then because that's the mind trick it plays is like, I need a cigarette.
Yeah. It's
just
like you don't. Body routine. Like
that's
fucking,
it.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
And then you realize that nicotine leaves your system within
3 days.
It's 48 hours mostly.
Wow.
And most of it's gone within like 3 hours. There's just trace amounts of it for the rest of the 2 days.
No shit, huh?
That's crazy, right?
That is, because you think it's like, a lot of people say, it's like heroin, man. You can't fucking kick it. It takes, it's harder than heroin and stuff. But,
mentally, I think it is.
Yeah, I trip on the people who quit smoking and they start vaping and they just 1,000 times more now. Like, the vape pen's just in their mouth at all times, like a fucking, like, what are you doing? You wouldn't smoke like that. It's just, vape all the time. I look at people that smoke cigarettes and I'm like, really? Still? Like 2017?
That's the perfect reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Wow.
You still doing that one, huh?
I mean, you know how that ends, right? It's like, oh my God. No. All right. Let's get into it. We're all over the board. I love it.
I do too.
You started comedy in 2002. What gets you into comedy? Who are you into? Why do you start it?
Man, looking back, my parents always liked good quality comedy. Looking back, I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
But they like good stuff. My mom's an English teacher. My dad's a history teacher and a football coach.
High school teachers?
Yeah.
Wow.
And two progressive thinking people and raised in a sea of red,
Yeah.
which was...
Really?
But they never preached it. They just lived it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I went through phases where I'm like, I'm going to be a Republican just because all your friends are.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, no, I'm not. And then you realize, like, I'm not even, like... That's as, you know, in college, I was like, I'm neither.
Yeah.
Like, both sides seem fucking crazy to me.
I'm down the hippie line.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle where
Yeah.
it's like some of that makes sense and some of that
Yeah,
makes
Chris
sense.
Rock says it. You know, I'm half Republican on some things, and I'm Democratic on others.
Yeah.
I'm just a human. Why are there teams?
That's what I
It's
don't...
not the Raiders versus the 49ers here. You know what I mean?
But that's what they've done to us.
Yeah.
So they always like just... And my dad was always big on making me think on both sides of every decision.
Yeah.
Like if I came in, I was like, this is the way things are. And he'd be like, well, what about this and this? Knowing that he thought and agreed with me from what I
but
started.
he wanted to see you.
But
yeah.
and that used to infuriate me in high school and college because I'm like, just fucking have my back on something. Then you get older and you're like, thank you for being that way.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
now I see the world as a way better and more complete, beautiful system.
Yeah.
So I played baseball for a couple years. I got recruited to play football and baseball in high school. I was just an athlete, but I was also like a pretty good student. I was pretty well rounded. I was a good football player, but then I went on some recruiting trips and saw how hard they hit each other in college. And
You saw real shit.
and I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
That's practice? Fuck that.
Yeah.
They're practice like they're playing in a game. Fuck this.
Wow.
So I was like, and I was like, if I have a shot at playing any professional sports, probably baseball,
What position?
I was a catcher.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I love,
Yeah, me too. I love it. I think it was really my first taste of being on stage as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, like my team would go to the championship. You just got the bleachers full and hearing your name, number 3.
that's when I would really step up too. If there was a big
Yeah.
crowd.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people were like, that's when they would mess up. But
No,
to me,
man.
if there were people there, I'm like, yeah, now we're doing it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, like
Yes.
open mics, I'm just whatever. But a fucking theater, I'm
Yeah.
fucking fire.
I am gonna bring it.
Yeah,
an open mic, I'm gonna fuck around.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
This is for practice.
But yeah, I really look back at it now. BMX and because I race BMX and baseball were really my first taste of like being on stage, like people watching you do something.
yeah.
You know.
And you're performing.
Yeah, and you kind of get into it because, like, I was a catcher back when you talk shit, you know. Hey, bada, your mama no good. You know?
I was just quiet, just saying like little fucking psychological shit to him. Be like,
I would just say crazy shit, and even the ump would be laughing.
well, that's what I loved about college and high school. I played at a pretty high level, both. Is that you have to establish that relationship with the umpire?
Yeah.
So that's psychological. So you're building rapport with him.
So you get calls.
yeah. And
totally.
you don't want to be a dick.
Yep.
And then some of them are dicks, so you're just like, all right, I'm gonna fuck with you too.
Yeah.
But you're in charge as a catcher. And I liked playing defense. I like catching a lot more than hitting, which blows people's minds. And I was like, well, hitting's fine. It's over real quick. I was fine. I was good at moving people over. I knew my job. I was never going to hit for power. I didn't care about that.
Yeah.
I loved catching. I loved calling the game. I love people, positioning people in different.
It's wild, right?
Oh, it's just the fucking best.
It's
And
just
people are
you're
like, baseball's boring. I'm always
No
like, I'm
way.
going to fucking kill you.
I
You
remember
have no
I
idea.
was catching for this guy, and I was like 6th grade, and his name was Guy Yamoka. He was
That's a
Hawaiian.
Great baseball name.
I still remember it. Guy Yamoka. He would hit home runs every time he was up. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, I was catching for him, and he was throwing smoke, dude, like in 6th grade. And it was like hurting my hand, like, oh, this guy's going to be a pro.
You knew,
yeah.
Even that, like, that's what I tell people too. I was like, well, the way professional baseball works is like there's this top level where there's like anyone can look at them. Like your mom could be like, oh, that person's going to play professional baseball.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, there's no question. And then there's this middle level, which is where I was at, where it's like you can compete.
Yep.
You're going to have to, there's some politics involved to get on a team.
Like a Jeff Kent.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And if you get in and then with the right organization, yeah, you can Jeff Kent that shit.
Totally.
And you can play for a long, or Mike Piazza is a good example. I mean, he was an unbelievable hitter, but he was a favor.
Yeah.
Because his dad knew Tommy Lasorda. He got drafted in the last fucking round.
You know what I mean?
But I realized that at the level I played junior college for a couple years we were the number 1 ranked team in junior college, which is the joke I have about it. Is like that's like having the biggest dick in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's totally useless.
But it's fleeting.
Yeah.
But I learned because we would have scouts coming over because a lot of dummies that were unbelievable baseball players were on our team that couldn't get into a big school.
Yeah.
And then we had guys that got drafted, and they were doing this thing called draft and follow, where they were property of a major league team.
Wow.
But they would play junior college for a couple of years to like grow.
Yeah, yeah. Open mic of baseball.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
And then I realized for those 2 years that I didn't love it the way I thought. I knew I could compete if I wanted and had that desire.
Yeah.
But there was so much more to life than just playing fucking baseball every day.
Yep.
And it was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was a heartbreaking realization.
Well,
to
when
me.
you're honest with yourself one day, it's crazy, right? Where
Yeah.
it was like when I was honest with myself finally with music, I was like, after 25 years, I was like, all right, I ran it. You know what I mean? I did it. I made records. I toured and stuff. But, you have to be honest with yourself. Do you still love it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you get up every day like you used to?
Or do you just do it because you don't know what else you're going to do in life?
Yeah. And that's where I was at after 2 years just in college. And I didn't even play that much that second year just because I was realizing it.
Yeah.
And then other people were on steroids and I wasn't. That was like before it was really well known.
Right.
It was before all that shit.
Junior college, steroids?
That's what I told my dad. I remember that first year when I realized it. Because I've always been an athlete and I've always been in really good shape and pride myself and also like I work my dick off.
Yeah.
And we practiced for like 4 or 5 hours on the field, and I come off and there'd be like 8 or 9 dudes in the weight room going at it like we didn't even practice. And
wow.
And I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
like,
where are you getting that next level energy at?
And then one day my friend, he was like, hey, do you want to, I've got these. And I was like, oh, thank God you guys are cheating because
wow.
I did not understand.
Yeah, I was tired, man.
I was like, God, and I'm way better shape than most of you motherfuckers.
Were they shooting them?
Some of them shot them up. I learned all about it those 2 years because it was before all that shit broke.
It was before it was illegal, too.
It was illegal.
Oh, in 02? What year are we talking?
I graduated high school the spring of 99, so right. It was 2000, 2001.
Wow, I don't know what year, because I remember for years it wasn't illegal in the Major League Baseball, And
it was illegal, but there were like ways around it, and they knew how to not test certain people. And that's when I realized, like, oh, if I want to really do this, this isn't cheating. This is the way.
Oh, it's the only way. I mean, Bud Siegel, I blame him for it all. Because what happens is you have the strike.
Yeah.
And then the strike's over. No one's going into the fucking arenas. Then these guys are juicing. You start getting the Bash Brothers. You get the Sammy Sosa against McGuire home run.
That got everybody back in.
That gets everybody back into the baseball parks. Bud's not saying a fucking thing. the entire, and he looks like a hero, like, we're back, man.
Yeah.
You know, then Bond starts coming, and then all of a sudden you got pitchers hitting home runs and shit, you know, and everybody's like, something's going on here, but he's
Guys
not
gaining 30 pounds of muscle in 3 months in the off season. You're like, that's not how the body works, yo.
It's so weird how, like, and then he fucking acts like, you know, we got to clean this up.
He's
it's like,
a piece of shit.
He's a garbage can. That guy was, I think that if anybody, like, people still look at Bonds, they keep him as the dude that was the poster child of it, you know, which is so funny because the year that they were, you know, harping on him, all the Dodgers except one tested positive.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And all the teams, you know, I think the only guys that weren't on it were Kent and the dude that did 4 million games in a row, you know, what's on the Baltimore?
Ripken.
Ripken.
Yes.
I think those are the only two guys that weren't on it. And it's like,
But here's what else they're doing, and they don't talk about. A lot of them are on fucking speed.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you got to be. We played
You're burnt out.
We played 60-something games a year in college.
Yeah.
And by the end, you're fucking exhausted. And then you start, that's what another thing that made me realize, like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
It beats the fuck out of you. And then you start thinking, like, how did Ripken do this for 20 years?
It's crazy.
And they're like, there's some cheating involved.
Yeah, they're just
somewhere.
on speed. They're taking pills, you know.
And then they're taking different, like, I learned that pitchers take different steroids because they get the little tiny muscles.
Yeah, they don't want to get all bulked up for
And they just
rotation.
throw on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, and then, like, one of my good friends, he was on it. He's a really smart dude. He realized he's a computer scientist now. And
Wow.
just like one of those dudes that just intelligent and can't help it.
Yep.
He was doing it all kinds of different ways, and he got sick. And I remember he had to go to the hospital. He was in the hospital for a couple of days, and I remember going there, and it was just me and him. And I was like, "Motherfucker, you know why you're in here?" And he's like, "No," and I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "All right, I got to fucking chill."
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, "You do?" And I was like, and we got real with each other. And I was like, neither of us are going to play anywhere else.
Yeah.
If we do, we'll go play at some other bigger school.
Why take him if you're not trying to get into the MLB? You know?
What are we fucking doing here?
Yeah.
And I think he realized, and then, like, there was this Canadian dude that took him, and this is one of the funniest things I've ever fucking seen. And he didn't take estrogen blockers with it because he didn't do the research because he's kind of a dummy.
Yeah.
And he grew literal tits.
Tits.
Like tits.
Wow.
Not like man boobs, like fucking titties.
Wow.
Like he was like ripped and then he had titties.
Oh.
And it was like, that was even funnier because he wasn't that great at baseball. He was just like that dude that would run into a wall if you needed him to. So he was like good to have around.
Yeah.
He's just always working hard.
Wow.
But that was like we were just quietly like, dude, you can't.
That's amazing that there's roids in a junior college level even, man.
Those people are just going after it.
God.
And then I start realize that's what made me realize was like, oh, these motherfuckers on stick because like dudes I was naturally better than that I worked harder than.
They're just better all of a sudden.
All of a sudden I can't compete with them for some fucking reason.
Wow.
And you're like, oh, so I would have to keep up with this.
Imagine if there was roids for comedy. Oh my God.
It's like some people call it weed joke steroids, and I was like, kind of. But not really. You still got to have that fucking work ethic. Oh.
Yeah, right.
So then I got depressed. I went to a bigger school, Western Kentucky, for communications. I had a decent advisor at the junior college who was like, he put me in like, I had a radio show at the little radio thing and he was like, you're good at talking.
Yeah.
And I was already into comedy at that point. I always liked stand-up.
Who were you into? What are we talking, early 2000s?
Yeah, I mean, anybody was, I mean, I love South Park at that time.
Yeah, of course.
At that time, stand-up wise, probably, I mean, anything that was on stand-up wise, I would watch. Some of it I like, some of it.
Because there's that gray area, you know. You got the 70s, the big guys. Then you got 80s, which is Dice and Kinnison and that. And then you get into Seinfeld and Martin and Chris Rock through the 90s, and then it just kind of goes gray.
Because it got so saturated,
right? And that's when I'm really kind of checked out. I'm not even watching comedy until around 06 when I see Louis C.K. at the Laugh Factory. I was like, wow, what's going on? All of a sudden, it's a whole new era. He's got the show Lucky Louie's about to do.
I remember. See, and I was already into stand-up. I remember liking Gaffigan in college. There was like, I was just on Comedy Central. Like anytime I would come in, boom, Comedy Central's on.
Yeah, I had the Mitch CDs because that was rock and roll, and I was rock and roll. So people are like, you know, oh, you gotta check this guy out. You know,
there was like, and then I wanted. You have no frame of reference really about how stand-up works.
Not at all.
So SNL was it like that was my plan for a little bit. I was like, I'll just go to Chicago. I'll do the Second City thing.
Yeah.
I'm just funny around my friends. I'm quick. That's improv.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
I improved at the Locker all my life.
Yeah, the fucking frat house, that kind of shit, and the fucking locker room. Yeah, I was always quick-witted, and I was like, I'll go do that. And then, but I do remember being on field trips, like in middle school. We went to Nashville, and I remember this so vividly, passing Zanies on a school bus, going to like the state capitol, and going, holy shit, that's where they do stand-up. That's cool.
Wow.
Like, I remember, and then there was one in Knoxville. There was like a Comedy Zone, which is funny, because that's one of those where like, nope, as soon as you get in the comedy, you're like, well, this is a nightmare.
Oh, man.
This is a nightmare room.
I've never been there.
It was at like a Ramada or something. It doesn't even exist anymore. But they had this sign. I was like, holy shit, that's where they do stand up.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that in middle school and like being fascinated with it.
They showed some of the rooms on this Dying Laughing, and I actually kind of got ill a little bit. I was like, ew.
Oh, God.
God, I don't like that. I mean, you know, I'm like, no.
Well, there's that tough part of your career. I remember thinking when I first started, man, if I could make this much money a week doing stand-up, I've made it.
Totally.
And then within 5 years, I was doing that.
Yeah.
And being like, no, this is not making it. I've got to not do this anymore. This is a nightmare.
Yeah, as soon as you take the flight out and a couple like real meals you ate because you were tired of the bar food, all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I have no money.
And these crowds are fucking retarded.
Oh, we were talking about that when we first met, man. It's just like, you know, I've said it over and over. Am I selling drinks? Or am I doing art? You know what I mean? It's like...
And you have to make, like, I guess about 4 or 5 years ago, I made that choice where I was like, I'm not just selling. I mean, you got to do a certain amount of those gigs to keep doing it for a living at a certain point in your career.
Exactly.
But then...
I'm at that right now. It's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But thank God I have some great rooms reaching out and supporting me. Like Comedy Works. You know, the Stand in New York, the Comedy Store, Punchline, Cobb's, these kind of people.
There are a handful that really get it.
Yep.
And then the rest, and you're right. Thank God that they exist, that you can still, and then the other ones, like I saw Arsenio Hall at the Improv about a month or so ago. He was popping in because he was doing a private gig and he just needed to...
brush it up.
And it was that thing of like, we'll see how this goes. And then you realize like, oh, there's a reason he had a TV show. He knows where the joke's at. He's just really funny.
He's super funny.
And then you start thinking like, oh, you still got to do the fucking private gigs from time to time just because, you know.
Put some money in the fucking account.
Yeah, this kid needs to go to a new semester at college or what. You're just like, okay, so you're never not going to do some shitty gigs. It's just they pay better.
They pay way better, and you just like business class, and you're in and out.
Yeah.
It's that fucking 5-day run, man.
I can't, I don't want to name names because, you know.
I don't either because we might be there.
Yes.
We might be
One day I might need them.
But I remember early on there was one, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you go from Wednesday to Sunday," and I was like, "God, that's great, man! More comedy, the better, you know." And then the first night's the Wednesday, and you're like, "Oh, this owner's a fucking asshole." And this club is just loaded with drunk people that don't even like comedy.
They don't even know what this is.
Not at all. They don't know who I am, of course, and they're just got free tickets at the grocery store or on the radio. And now it's just like, oh, I'm here till Sunday. There's no good restaurants around. It's fucking a shitty hotel.
Yes.
And the opener and the feature are talking about putting it in girls' butts. And then they're, you know, like, you ever put it in her butt and then she licks it? It's like a chocolate sickle. You're like, oh.
That's the openers. Yes.
That's the opener.
Yes.
And then you go on and they're like, get the chocolate sickle guy back out here.
That first guy was funny.
Yeah,
You're
man,
like,
the way he
God.
talked about coming in the guy's eyes.
And then he talked to me. He talked to me individually in the crowd for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. The other guy, like, he had like thought-provoking material
That other guy was just, I don't know, man.
And then I've had him explain to me, well, what you need, because you start asking, like, hey, I've been through this club a couple times, like, that's up to pay.
Yeah.
Your crowd, I can still do my act.
Yeah.
And I've learned to communicate through the drunk people. That was a trick I learned. And I still tell young comics, do every room imaginable.
Of course.
Because it's not, I mean, even if it's
I'm only
shitty.
7 years in. I'm still a young comic, but I'm an older guy, so I can just weed out like, nah, that's going to... I remember Ari Shaffir, I said one time, hey, Ari, you want to do this show out here? And he goes, nah, I stopped doing bars. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, it just sends me backwards 3 steps, my soul. And I was like, oh, all right. And then a year later, I was like, oh, he is fucking 100% right.
You have to do them. You have to have that realization.
You got to have that experience of like, oh, I've seen this before, where they put the fucking, put the comic on while the football game's on. You know, I've seen that. We've hijacked this room.
You start looking like a psychic to younger comics. You're like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen,
Yeah.
this is going to happen. How'd you know that?
Yeah.
Because that's what happened.
So those two, they're going to just fucking talk through our set, whatever.
I'm just not going to kick them out because all they care about is selling booze, and they're buying the most booze, even though they're fucking this whole thing up. They're not going to kick them out.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
wouldn't they kick them out? They're fucking the show up. Because this isn't about a fucking comedy show.
Dan Soder told me the most disturbing story ever. I was telling him how I'd worked at this club, and I was like, oh, God, man, the people were just drunk the entire week. It was a nightmare. And he goes, oh, yeah, that place, I'm never going back. He goes, I had it out with like 4 or 5 people in the crowd. He was putting out fires nonstop, and then he was just like,
9 shows just popped in my head right now.
yeah, and he's like, kick these people the fuck out, man. What the fuck is going on here? No one's got his back. They're just whoa, yelling and screaming. After the show, the owner went up to the people and said, very sorry about the comic. Here's 100 free tickets. Bring your friends again. Sorry about that. And rewarded them. I'm just like, my fucking head is popping off my fucking shoulders right
You're
now.
going to have to tell me which club that is when we're not doing this.
Oh, my God.
It's a club, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
I'm 3 guesses, but I'm not going to do it while we're recording. But
Oh,
I've
my
got-
God. It's just like...
That happened to me, and it's the guy doesn't run it anymore. And I'm not going to say because they were always pretty decent to me.
Yeah.
It was just the way, and they knew, and they even like the guy that runs all of them told me, he's like, you're not going to have to come through here in a year. He's like, because I can, he's been doing it long enough. He's like, he likes comedy, but the way his clubs are set up, it's not for what I do.
Yeah.
And he was really nice to me early on and let me grow. And then he was like, first of all, I can't pay you what you deserve anymore.
Yeah.
And second of all, you don't need to do these.
Well, that's cool. It's like a C room, and he set you free.
Yes.
He's like, you did what you needed in here. Move on.
Yeah. And, if I ever one of those like big draws, I could come in and be like, just give me the door.
Yeah.
And I can come in. My crowd will be fine.
Yeah.
And I think
that's
he would.
very cool.
Yeah. He was really cool. And now one of his managers one time, this table was just out of their mind drunk.
Yeah.
just out of their fucking right down front, and my whole fucking headline set was just dealing with them.
Oh my
now I
God.
was destroying them, and the crowd was having fun, but I
course,
was
but it
losing my
gets old, too.
fucking mind.
When I was growing up, I had mad skills.
Yeah.
It was called capping. And you'd just be at the locker and just cap on dudes until fist fights would break out.
That's what it would happen.
And so I had to start pushing it down to where I don't enjoy doing it either, because I know no matter what, it sticks with that person for the rest of their life.
And I can do it and make
I
them
can be mean as fuck,
I
too.
can
Yeah.
make them rethink who they are as a human being.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I grew up around football players and I was a little smaller.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I knew how to fuck with people.
Yeah.
Because that's how you protect yourself. And so I'm just fucking, and I was fucking livid after that set. And I was like, walked off stage and he's like, that's fun, right? And I was like, I'm going to fucking kill you. I was
Yeah.
like, why didn't you fucking kick those people out?
That wasn't fun at all.
They were a fucking nightmare from the feature set.
Yeah.
I was like, I just did 50 minutes fucking with them. They should have left 10 minutes into my fucking act. And he's
I
like,
start policing the room. When I see they're fucking with the feature, I go, hey, let's throw them out. I'll just give you money. I'll tell the manager, I'll just give you the money or whatever. Just go hand it to them and just walk them out.
There's
You know what I mean?
There's
no reason. If they're fucking up the feature, why are they still in there? What are you going to make on them? $100? Here's $100 just so I can sleep tonight.
So he goes, come here. And he was like, you want to sell merch? He's like, you not going to sell merch tonight? And I was like, no, fuck that. I didn't even get to sell merch.
Yeah, I don't even want to see those guys.
He's like, well, come in my office. And he pulled out their check. And he spent like $350, $400 on booze.
Yeah.
And he's like, I ain't kicking them out. Look how much money they spent, blah, blah. And like clockwork, it was just beautiful instant karma. About that time, one of the servers came through, knocked on the door, and he opened it up, and she goes,
Declined.
no, the two really drunk chicks from table 1, they just threw up all over the bathroom, so you're going to have to go clean it up to the manager. And I was like, fucking yeah, go clean up $450 worth of fucking booze.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't give a shit. That's my bottom line. I was like, okay, we're in a different fucking business.
All right.
I was like,
exactly.
It didn't bother him. He just thought he just viewed it as a win.
He's like, man, we look at, they threw this up here. If I could rebottle this vomit and sell it again, I would sell that.
Without a doubt, he would have just
Recycled
rang
booze.
up that fucking
Oh,
mop.
my God.
Yes, and resold it. And that's when like you realize like, I can't.
Yeah, I'm not here doing art.
Yeah, this is not.
You're not into art. You know?
This isn't.
And look, it's as hippie as that sounds or whatever. To me, it really is. And over the last couple of years, I've learned it so hard in the store. It really is about the art of it.
Yes.
The art of how great it feels to go on as a stranger and some shit you thought of on your way there, and you say it, and they go fucking crazy.
You make them. It's involuntary.
Yeah, it's kung fu, man. I feel like a black belt sometimes up there.
Like I don't like people. Some comics love like, I got like 3 applause breaks.
I
Like
don't
that's
care about-
fucking easy.
Yeah.
I can go up there and make people applaud
Yeah.
anytime I want without saying applause.
Yeah.
Make them fucking laugh for 45 minutes straight
Yeah.
when you want them to, the way you want them to.
Yeah.
That's impressive to me.
Or
I need to
make
start
'em
going to
ooh-
the store.
Make them ooh and awe and fucking and go on a ride of like,
And then piss them off and then
yeah,
bring
all
them back.
that. Just a full emotional
I remember
ride.
seeing Tosh early on when I was still House MC.
Yeah.
Before he was Tosh. He was just this. I knew it, like, once I got into it and started comedy and nerding out and, like, really studying it, you realize who's really good at it and
Yeah.
who's not.
Oh, yeah.
And who's, like, popular because they're just fucking pandering and all
Yeah.
that shit. And Tosh was like, I was like, I love this dude. And he, fucking half the club is empty every
Yeah.
night. And I'm just in the back going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How is this guy's amazing?
He's so good.
And he, I watched him the first night, and it was like early on, I didn't realize what he was doing until the next night. He went on stage and dug the biggest hole I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I was in the back going like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Like I didn't think he was dumb. This is dumb. And just saying stuff where it was like, It's like, it seems like he's pissing them off on purpose. And he was.
Yep.
He dug one of the biggest holes I've ever seen. And within 5 fucking minutes, had them all back in the palm of his hand.
Well, that's what that's the challenge for him.
Because he was bored.
Yeah, exactly.
He was bored.
Exactly.
He knew exactly. And I was like, you know, like.
Yeah. He's like, I already know my set's going to kill. Let me just rip on these people. I love watching that. I love that's a thing that Burr does a lot, where he'll open with the most brutal thing to where people go, "Ooh, what?" But by the time he finishes the joke, they're on his side. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, he's right on that. You know what I mean? And you're like, God damn, that's some skill there, man.
That's one of my favorite things to do. And I would probably be. I want to say more famous at least a little bit, if I didn't have that in me.
Yeah.
More, if I had a little more pander in me, but I just can't do it. And I learned that a long time ago by myself, and I've come to terms with it. Is that I'd rather make a living at it my whole life than be really famous and have to fucking dance.
Yeah. There's nothing where, like, I remember I met with some managers and they're like, well, yeah, so we want to start sending you out for like guest spots on sitcoms and stuff. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, unless it's like a show like Louie or Marin or these shows where, I love them, like Breaking Bad or something. I don't want to just go do some garbage TV. I'm looking to do something, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, this won't work. And I was like, oh, I hear you. They're just looking for these guys that just want to be famous.
That's all they want.
That's all they want.
We'll put you in this. And then that happened to me early on when I started coming out here. And is that blue collar was still pretty hot.
Yeah.
They hear my name. They hear my accent.
Oh, yeah.
They don't listen to what I do at all.
Yeah.
And they're like, you do this and this and this. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not a redneck.
Yeah.
I know you with my name and my accent, you think I'm a redneck.
Yeah.
I'm not a redneck. I was raised, my grandpa owned a cattle farm down the street. I can do all that shit. I'm more of a farm boy than I am a redneck. I don't like rednecks.
That's what's great about your comedy, because I watched your set on Conan. It was fantastic. And it's a lot like when I see like Al Madrigal. He's Hispanic, but he's not a Hispanic comic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you come out, you go, well, he's going to come on and talk about chewing tobacco and
drinking beers and driving trucks.
And then it's so great when you just chop that down right away with great writing.
Thank you.
And right away you go, wow, this guy's good, man. You know
Thank
what I mean?
you. And I've, like I said, I've came to terms with like, this is going to take me longer.
Of course.
And I'd much rather
because you don't want to take the shortcut of like, hey guys, we ought to go out back and 4-wheel drive it.
And hey, I know I don't really, this ain't my real accent. If you meet me after the show, I probably don't talk like this as much as and instead of the punchline, I just talk more like this. Like
I turn it up.
And it's a tone, and that's what fucking dummies respond to, and people go see that in droves. It's been proven.
But it comes down to too, like early on when I was doing comedy, man, my buddy was like, watch out what you get famous for. Meaning, be yourself up there. Don't fucking get famous because I was a little big at the beginning when I started, because I thought that's what it was, like Chris Farley. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and you're scared.
Yeah, you're scared. You're just pandering. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're like, like Farley's big. You just fall over, and then you look at someone and go, hey, and I was like, fuck all that,
Well, they start laughing for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
It's like, we're talking about Moonlight. The reason I realize, like, I love this movie because they play with silences a lot.
Yep.
And I think there's so much to be said in silence. Hedberg played that. Some of my favorite comics, looking back, played with being quiet.
Total. Well, that's where the laughs come.
Yes.
When you stall out and you just sit there, and then they go, oh man.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Yes, totally. That's my bag.
I love that.
Attell said that in some interview early on. He's someone that I, like, early on really loved. David Cross was somebody I really loved.
Attell just kills. I watched him 2 nights ago. Just destroy. He's so great. I love everything about him. He is the pure energy. He's like something you look at and go, all right, well, that's the high water mark there. He works forever. Always new jokes.
Cutting out any word that doesn't matter.
Any fat's out of there.
Oh.
And just fucking primo. And everyone loves him. You know what I mean? It's like the perfect comedian, you know?
And just a workhorse.
Oh, yeah.
I love stand-up,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Like, one of the best.
Just so great.
And I think we talked about this that night at Nerd Mount, was when Chappelle did the monologue on SNL.
Yeah.
You're just watching it, and it's that thing of like, I forget who I was with when I was watching it. I was like, oh, God, man, when he turns it on.
Oh.
And I think I even tweeted that. I was like, I love how high Chappelle sets the bar for everybody.
Oh, that guy's so amazing.
I
opened for him during Christmas, and since there was phone bags in there, your phone locked up, he did the hour, and I just sat back and like I told him, I
that thing you're like, oh, I gotta get to work.
I was like,
Shit.
oh, I'm glad I see this
Yeah.
because I constantly love seeing like Maron and Burr and Chappelle and Chris Rock. I constantly and Attell a couple nights ago. It constantly drives me of like, oh yeah, those are the drivers of like, I got to write more. I got to get on stage more. Yeah, they're fearless. They're great. Of course, they're 20, 25-year men, and CK too. But it's so great to have somebody that you can look at and go, okay, well, these other guys are famous, but they're not doing this stuff. That. They're not doing this, man. And Chappelle was killing me. He's killing me how good it was.
Without a doubt, the best.
Yeah.
Like, and people were like, they don't put him in the top 5. I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind. To me, Richard Pryor, without a doubt, is the best of all time. I named my son Pryor, just for what. He made stand up what it is.
Yeah, Pryor.
People talk about Lenny Bruce or anything.
Pryor is the absolute that storytelling thing is just what people do. If you just look at that, you got the gun. When they're out hunting. You got the gun. I thought you had the gun. That Long Beach special is really the blueprint for everyone.
And I collect all of it. Like any album that I don't have that I see, I was like, oh well, here's some money.
Yeah.
I just want everything he's ever done, because it's even the bad stuff is still there's like little gems in there.
Yeah,
we're
man.
just like he was fearless. I think when I started out, I studied it, and that's who I've realized. That's who I am as a person. Anything like I'm really interested in, I'm going to study the fuck out of it.
That's what I did too.
And I knew. I even talked to Hedberg about this in that bar, that closed bar. It was just us. I said, I know where I want to be. I was like, and what I've realized, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I remember this conversation very vividly. And I remember I was just doing the act out on the bar. I was like, it's like, I want to be here. And what I've realized is there is no shortcut in stand-up. It's just going to take time.
Yep.
And I just have to do it.
Yeah.
And he just looked up and he was like, that's it exactly, man.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, okay. And he was like, so you just have to keep doing it. And I was like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I want to learn how to tell as many different types of jokes.
Yeah.
Because that's going to make me and my voice better. And I'm not just doing one style.
Yeah, round it out.
And he was like, yes. He's like, it's going to take you longer. He's like, you can, he was like really cool about being like, be aware of these traps.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I remember even then, 1 year and a half in, I was like 22, 23. I said, I don't care that much about being famous. Is that I know that'll come and it's a side effect. Is that I just want to do it forever.
Yeah.
And if I act, I can go act and do that. That's part of the ride. But I want to do stand-up for fucking ever.
That's it, man. That's all I care about.
If I can sell out 700 to 1,500 seat little theaters for the rest of my life.
That's made it to me.
Where's Billy Wayne out? He's probably at some 700 seat theater.
If I could just sell out.
Yes.
Where the guy calls ahead and goes, hey, man, we're sold out.
No, yeah.
Wow.
I know. I'm just talking about.
I know, but I'm just saying. You know what I
I'm
mean?
the same way. Yes.
That's fucking crazy. Like,
yes.
I'm still waiting for like that. You know.
I'm still shocked when people were like, "We came to see you." I'm always like, "What?
Yeah.
How do you know who I am?"
Yeah. I get that a lot.
Are
from
we
the
related?
podcast, thank God. You know.
That's what I've realized. The Conan thing helped, and then the album has helped.
Yeah, let's talk about that before you cut out here.
Oh yeah, I've got to go pick up my son a little bit.
You got a record on THRID Man, which is Jack White's label, and amazing. You recorded it how long ago?
We recorded it. I guess it was last May, and then we released it in December.
So you go right in and you do it at his venue, and they're tracking it behind the curtain.
There's this really cool pegboard kind of thing behind you, and then there's a room right behind the stage.
Yeah.
And it's got and I couldn't explain to you what any of that shit. I've got pictures of it. But the engineers came in, they showed me, they had like a little microscope where you could see afterwards. They showed me the wax saver.
Acetate, yeah, they're just cutting it right there.
They cut it right there, like in the middle of my set, and you can see it. Like there's a download if you buy the vinyl of the video performance of it, and there's 2 minutes that's not on the vinyl where they have to just change over after 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's like 2 minutes where I'm just kind of fucking around. So that part was really, it's this cool thing where like they gave me a light at 30 and like, we got to switch it in a minute. And I was like, cool, I'll just stop right now. And then it picked up, and the crowd was perfect. It's in the Blue Room in their place in Nashville. And it was just like a dream.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Cool. Did you know Jack White? How did this happen?
I've never met him.
How did this happen? Because they seem to be into like great comics.
That was another thing where I was like, I toured with Sturgill.
Yeah.
And that was like, I used everything I've ever learned on that tour, just because some rooms were standing room only. And when I lived in Seattle, I was just doing, like I said, I'd go up anywhere and sought out weird things. And I got to know this promoter in Seattle named Dan Steinberg, who would just throw me up on rock shows.
Like at the Moore and Paramount and stuff?
Not really those big shows.
Yeah, the Tractor or shit like that?
Yeah, the Tractor. I did the Tractor several times.
Yeah.
Some stuff. I was supposed to open for Buckethead once, and then he was excited about it. And then some radio douchebag was like, "No, we want to do the MC and stuff." And I was like, "I get it."
Yeah.
But then I just did some rock stuff like the Tractor and the Chop Suey and things, because Seattle was perfect for all that rock shit.
Love it.
So I knew kind of what I was getting into. And then I toured with Ralphie May for a little bit, so I knew how to play bigger rooms.
Yeah. And how did Sturgill pick you? Are you guys friends?
No, that story's, I was just told that on Pete Holmes' podcast. It's fucking crazy. People don't believe it. I was stoned, getting off a plane, coming into Nashville.
Yeah.
I was working with Fortune Feimster, who I love.
Yep, love her. She's so great.
Fucking one of the best. Just a quality human being, and so just naturally
Super funny, man.
It's crazy how funny she is.
Yeah, right?
It's like one of those things where you're like, we'll see, and then you just meet her, and you're like, okay, you're like one of the best people I've ever fucking met. And you just want to hang out with her the whole time. Like when she leaves, you're like, you're not mad at me, are you? And she's like, no, we just have to leave. We're different people. It was around Christmas, so I was going back just to see my family and then work. Brian Dorfman at Zany is always great about that. And I was stoned waiting on my ride, and I just tweeted at him and Isbill, hey guys, I've got you both a couple tickets. I've never met them. I was just fans of what they do.
Yeah.
I knew they lived in Nashville, and I was just wasting time until my friend Steve came to pick me up. And I just texted or tweeted that out. That said, hey, there'll be 2 tickets at the door. I was like, just 2. You guys aren't that famous yet.
Yeah.
And made a little joke about it. And just sent it out and forgot. And then the next night, we're sitting in the green room, and Fortune's like, oh, can you put so-and-so on the guest list? And I was like, oh, shit. I would feel like a dickhead.
Yeah.
I was like, I forgot I did this, but could you put Sturgill Simpson +1 and Jason Isbell +1? I was like, I feel like a real dick if they showed up and I didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
And whole week goes by. I'm trying to make a half-hour tape to send to Comedy Central, and you know how nightmare making a tape is.
Of course.
So it's just none of the. There's always something during a set with the crowd.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it's ruined.
And just
ruined.
And it just and it was like they'd mess up the pacing, or it was like fucking. I was just having one of those weeks. The shows were fine. It was just for the tape I couldn't get it. Sunday night, I have that set where it was just like I came off stage. I was like, that was fucking it.
Yeah.
I was just just everything just clicked, and I was kind of mad, so it was coming out really good.
Yeah, yeah.
And then so I came off stage. I was like, fucking yeah. So I go get the fucking videotape, and I check it, and it cut off 10 minutes in.
Oh.
So I was livid.
Oh.
Livid.
Oh.
And I'm just like pouting. Like, and normally things don't bother me. I was just like, fuck this whole fucking shit. I hate
Yeah.
like,
fuck this business.
Yeah, what am I going to...
I don't need no tape.
I'm going to be a baseball coach or some shit.
Yeah.
Fuck this whole thing up. And the sound guy comes back, and he's like, I thought you were just kidding about those Sturgill tickets. Somebody came and picked them up tonight. And I was like, fuck off, dude. Not the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Not time to fuck with me. He's like, yeah, I didn't see him. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry you're in a bad mood. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry if I was rude to you. I just blah. He's like, So then Fortune's just killing. The show's over. Me and Fortune backstage is fucking around. And the sound guy texted me, and he was like, yo, Sturgill's waiting to talk to you. And I just texted him back, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Now's not the time.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
something like, go fuck yourself. And then he's like, ugh. So then like 5 minutes later, sound guy comes walking back around into the green room, and his face is just like white as a ghost. And he's like, man, I know, like, he's real passive. He's like, I know you're not in a good mood, but I'm being dead serious. Sturgill is out here and he wants to talk to you.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. So like grab a CD.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like my mood completely, like all the molecules just changed.
Yep.
And then he and I just start talking and just got along like immediately. And then about 5 or 10 minutes in the conversation, he just kind of pauses, and he's like, would you ever want to tour with me? And I was like, I say no to a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I was like, but anything you want to do, I'll work with you.
Absolutely, right?
And then we met and had coffee the next day. And that's when I think we both realized, like, if neither of us, if he wasn't a musician and I wasn't a comedian, we were just regular dudes.
Yeah, just be friends.
We'd be friends.
Yeah, yeah. God, that's killer, right?
It was like, and I remember like at the end, he was like, this might not work out. And I was like, dude, I don't give a shit. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
who
just
cares?
like fucking hanging out with you. And he was like, cool, man. He's like, I was going to say the same thing to you. I was like, well, so we can just, it's like, it's cool to find a fucking friend.
Man.
Because we saw eye to eye about most shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And the way we go about stuff's very similar.
It's so dope.
And then just, probably 6-7 months later, it worked out. And then it happened. Like his management and agent came to see me. And it just, they were like since then, we've talked about that process, but he was like, I just told him, I was like, what he does is perfect. It goes perfect with what I do.
Yeah.
And he was totally right. And then one of the coolest things he did was the first night, you know how, like, most of the time I don't give a fuck when I go on stage.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I truly don't. Because I've done it long enough. I know what I'm doing. If it doesn't go well, it's even better sometimes. But I wanted this to go good. So I was like nervous.
Of course.
First night I was like, I won't fuck this up.
Yeah.
I fucked some stuff up where I don't give a shit. But I was like, this is awesome. I won't fuck this up. And we're in Asheville. And I knew I'd be fine comedy-wise, like with the crowd, because they were seated.
Yep.
I was like, I'll be fine with this. This is fine. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about saying something that might offend him.
Right.
Or somebody else important. And we're waiting for the show to start. He comes back, and we're just kind of bullshitting. And he was like, hey, don't hold back.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, and I was like, do you understand
Yeah.
what you're saying when you tell me that?
Yeah.
And he was like, that's why I hired you. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I was like, because I will tell a motherfucker to go to hell and shut the fuck up. And he's like, that's why I hired you.
That is awesome.
So after that, I was like, okay.
Handcuffs off. It's on.
And then I went out, and that's that. I mean, I get chills talking about it, because it was just that moment of like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because that's what I
Green
needed.
light.
That's what I needed. Because I naturally can't hold back, and that's why I'll get fired a lot.
God, that's great, man.
And then it just kind of, and then his agent dug me a lot. And and his management did too. But I tried to work with his management. They just don't, their music.
Yeah, they don't understand the comedy world.
And we were just, it was like very amicable. It was just like, I don't think we can. I was like, no, it was cool that we tried. I appreciate it. It was a huge compliment. But yeah, it's better if we don't. And then his agent, I may, once I get to a certain level, that's probably who I'd go with anyway.
Yeah, that's great.
But right now he can't.
Yeah, because he needs to make big paper. Like,
yeah, and
I know those guys are like, wait a minute, well, I'm getting 10% of this.
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
I got
So they were like, we want to help you out, and I was like, and I was like, I'd love to do a live at THRID Man Records.
Yeah,
and I just said it to them, and then they were like, well, let me see. And then we got Brian Dorfman, the owner of Zanies, who runs the Wild West Comedy Festival, involved. I was like, could I do it during that? And then all expectations, I was like, I'm going to get a no. These people don't know who I am.
Yeah.
But the people at THRID Man, they knew who I was. I guess through, I was from Nashville, so.
Of course.
And I have like a good reputation as a comic there, local do well. And then they just came back, were like, yes, we love him, let's do it, let's set up a date. And then they just fucking.
God, that's dope.
I was like, they were like, yeah, we got a date. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's so great.
And then they got mad at me because they sent the contract. And I was like, well, let me have a lawyer look at it. And they were like, what?
Yeah.
There's no negotiating this. And I was like, I know, I just need someone to look at it and just.
Hilarious.
And then they were like, gave me shit about that. And I was like, yeah, like even if he would have said go back with stuff, I'd been like, yeah, fuck off. I'm still signing this.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I just felt like just for my end, they're like, no, you made the right choice and blah, blah, we get it. But it was just funny that, then at the last minute, you're like, well, let me see my lawyer look at it. I was like, and my lawyer's my buddy.
Yeah.
Who's like, he doesn't even do it.
He just looked at you like, you dummy, go do this.
Yeah, no, he was just like, this is cool. And then just handed it back. Yeah, that's what he did.
It's out now, right?
The record, yes, it came out in December.
You can get it on THRID Man?
THIRDManStore.com is the vinyl. It's like $15. You get a free video download of the performance. And then if you don't want the vinyl, you don't have that shit.
iTunes?
You can get on iTunes.
So great. I can't wait to listen to it.
I like my first one, the first one you do, you're like, I was 8 or 9 years in, and I was like, it's good. But this one I'm like proud of.
Wow.
And then Erin made a good point, because I didn't even think about it till later. She was like, you only had one shot at that, right?
Yeah, right?
And I was like, fuck, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah, because usually when you do a live record, it's over a weekend.
Yeah.
4 shows,
Yes.
That's true, man. That's it.
That's all and I was like, fuck, I'm so glad I didn't think of that before.
It's even cool, though, if you would have bombed a little bit. It's like, here's a vinyl of me bombing. You know what I mean?
Maybe I'll go in next time and be like, I'm just going to eat shit for 30 minutes.
That's like the Dice, the day
I just bought that.
Great.
It took forever for me to find it online. I ended up paying like $50, but it's the original Rick Rubin one.
Yeah, because he was on
vinyl? Yeah.
Wow.
Though that's why it took so fucking long.
I got to find that on vinyl. I got the first one, of course, Dice. Wow, I got to get that.
When you come over, we're having people over when I start smoking weed again, where I'm going to fucking blow it out, so you have to come over.
I'll come over for sure.
Yeah, and I was telling my mom, I was like, I should have just been telling people I don't smoke weed anymore, because
they give you all the free weed.
I've got so much free weed right now.
Yeah, right?
It's like this party's going to be
I don't really smoke weed. It's like, well, here, just in case you do. I love that one. Here, join us.
Here's the jar of it. And you're like, what the fuck?
I was just doing a show in Denver, and I was talking about this on stage. I'm there for 6 hours, maybe. Fly in, check into the hotel, go do it was a theater gig, a one-off, and then fly out at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
These guys, I do a podcast, they give me a fucking duffel bag of like 4 ounces of weed and dabs and fucking hash oils and edibles. I'm like, this is for a guy's lifetime.
Yes.
I'm here 6 hours.
And they're like, here's an hour's worth of pot for us. And you're like, no, I'll be in a coma if I smoke all this.
One hit. I'm good. Here, you can have the whole bag. I just need one hit.
I love Denver's the best.
Oh, it's the best. I fucking love it.
I think it's the best.
I've been talking it up over and over, man.
Outside of New York and San Francisco.
That's what I say.
It's the best comedy city right now.
It's so great. Well, LA I really love right now, I
need to start going to the store.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been.
Yeah.
And I ran into Mark recently, Marin, and he was he was like, it's not, he's like, I know what it used to be.
It's incredible.
And when I first moved here, I was
Yeah.
like, fuck this place.
It's fire, dude.
But
It is
now
fire.
it's just I need to start
It
going.
makes me worship comedy. I'm just so happy when I'm in there. I'm just like, God, this is it.
I got to start
You
going.
know?
Just to feel it. And then Adam, right?
Yep.
I need to meet him. Okay.
Thanks for doing the podcast, dude.
Man, thanks for having me.
hell yeah.
Anytime you
Well,
want
we
to
gotta
fucking
hang
sit and
out.
talk, yes.
But yeah, let's hang out and
And
get
I'll-
some food this week or something. Your Twitter,
Billy Wayne Davis.
Instagram.
Billy Wayne Davis.
Yep.
There's not many.
And get this record, man. I'm going to be listening to it. And
When does this go out?
it'll be out the following, not this Monday, the following Monday.
So, okay.
Like mid-March.
I'll be in Houston
Oh, cool.
March 18th, Saturday, March 18th at the Secret Group. Have you done that room?
No.
You should do that room.
Well,
They
let me know
wouldn't-
if you ever need an opener. I'll go out with you. It'll be fun.
Can't pay what you need to be paid.
I know, but it's just something to do. You know?
No, yeah, and yes, fucking A. Let's go to Humboldt.
Let's do. Oh, I'll do that in a minute.
I just got back from there.
I'll
and
do that
I go
in a
there. I go there 2 or 3 times a year.
I'll do that.
There's a great run. Let's do that.
All right, I'm
Fucking
in.
A. Yes.
Thanks for doing the podcast.
Thank
brother.
you for having me.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and get yourself subscribed to this podcast and leave a review. Thanks, everybody. Candles lit.